So, now that the Frontier Pursuits update is out and about, it's changed the game up in a few ways, from the combat aspect to the economy and all that crap. There's even a battle pass or outlaw pass that gives you some neat stuff in exchange for working your ass off. I'm pretty sure I have a few ideas that I could pull out from my nether regions in regards to the wholesome content that's been given to us, but for now, we're going to shift our focus on the bullshit RPG-like mechanic that is the ability cards. For those of you who are new to my small channel and Red Dead Online for that matter, approximately 7 to 8 months ago I made a small explanation going over the monetary gaining process for the cards. This time, not only will that be updated, but we're also going to go through each individual card and give a clear explanation as to what they can do with little footage because it's basically self-explanatory. So grab some notes and a pillow because I'm about to bore the shit out of you.
Well, Frieza, looks like you dropped the ball.
To keep this mildly short, as you already know, ability cards give players unique skills in order to turn the tide against the competition. For example, Deadeye cards help with improved weapon stability, target acquisition, and accuracy. Combat cards focus solely on increasing your maximum damage output, defense cards focus on increasing your defensive capabilities while on the field, and recovery cards focus on gauge regeneration as well as item usage efficiency. There are currently 33 cards altogether, with 9 of them being completely new, and out of the 9 new cards, only 3 of them are early access for PS4 at the moment since Rockstar loves to flex on their Xbox player base for unknown reasons. Each card can be upgraded to the next level, which we call tiers, which go from 1 to 2 to 3, with the first tier being the weakest and the third tier being the strongest, so to speak. In order for you to upgrade them, you'll need to generate both cash and experience, which is quite obvious. Tier 1 cards can be bought off the bat for $50. It'll take around 10,000 XP before it can reach its next form. Tier 2 cards, on the other hand, can be bought for $350. It'll take approximately 15,000 XP before it can reach its final last stage. Tier 3 cards can be bought for a whopping $500, and there is no XP requirement since it's already reached its master state. When you begin Red Dead Online, you'll be able to get your first card for free, but afterwards, you'll still have to cough up the remaining $850 for it to reach its final upgrade. That is, if you want to. Up until now, the original pricing for all the cards put together was totaled around $21,550 with at least 600,000 XP accumulated over time. And before you ask, this is the amount of XP that I believe you'll have generated if you upgraded them individually. With the addition of the new 9 cards, said amount is approximately $29,650, which if you basically round up is $30K spent over time, and trust me, it's not necessary. Unless you want to spend your time and reach maximum capacity with all the cards and have an advantage over your opponent, then there is no need to spend your money unless you're up for it, because, you know, it's usually not really worth it, or if they're at a discounted price, I guess you could say. Also, if you're feeling iffy about my math, because I personally was during the process of this video, then you could check my explanation video and proceed to call me out on my bullshit if need be. But just remember this, if you multiply the number of cards you have by each tier price, then you get a total of how much they cost altogether. Excluding the freebie, 32 cards multiplied by $50 equals $1,600. All 33 cards put together multiplied by 350 equals $11,550. All cards put together, 33 cards by 500 equals 16,500. Add it all together, you get 29,650, which once again, rounded up, is 30K. Not worth it unless you really want to. And now that we have the mathematic nerd shit out of the way, we can finally go over how each card works. Because of the update, you now have 6 Deadeye cards, 8 combat cards, 10 recovery cards, and 9 defense cards to choose from, with unique talents that they all have, with some of them acting like a double-edged sword. We'll start with the original 24 cards before getting to the remaining 9, beginning with the first Deadeye ability, A Moment to Recuperate. This card allows for you to be able to regenerate health on the go. Should you take any kind of damage, it'll cancel out the animation. Focus Fire allows for you and nearby teammates to deal more damage to the opposition. Should anyone else utilize this along with you, the effects will not stack and proceed to stay the same. Painted Black allows for you to paint targets on your opponents. Simple enough, it's a useful but nuisance of a card. When firing your weapon, all shots will make contact unless they're behind cover that blocks every hit. With every shot fired, your Deadeye gauge will drain at a constant rate. If you're in a defensive playstyle, no one can use it on you, but you can't use it on them either. A couple of notes for this one and for all Deadeye cards in general. Because of update 1.06, All Deadeye cards, excluding Painted Black, no longer have the perfect pinpoint accuracy that they used to have. However, because some people happen to call this one out, Painted Black now consumes even more Deadeye for each shot fired. It won't necessarily stop people from using it, but hopefully some of us can actually catch a break now. Slow and Steady allows for you to take less damage while activated, and headshots don't necessarily one-tap you as per usual. As you take damage, your Deadeye will drain a bit more and you cannot run nor sprint while in this state. Because of update 1.11, damage reduction has now been increased while the ability is activated. Quite an inspiration works similar to a moment to recuperate, except not only does this heal you, but also others who are within the vicinity. Just like Focus Fire, you cannot stack the effects if someone else is using the exact same card. And now we have Slippery Bastard, the dooziest one of them all. Beforehand, this card allows for you to be what it is, a slippery little bastard. When activated, there will be a distorted aura around the target to notify others that their shots are less accurate than normal when firing upon you, and that your accuracy is reduced at a significant rate. In other words, none of you can lock onto each other. The only way people can actually get a kill with this is if they're up close to you with any type of shotgun, turn it off, and proceed to annihilate you with accurate hip-fire shots. Believe me when I say that this shit was particularly annoying, especially if they were using, I don't know, 2 sawn-off shotguns for example. Due to the fact that I assume that a lot of players made a big fuss about this, Rockstar now nerfed it to the point of where you are able to lock onto people who happen to use this card quite frequently. However, there's still a bit of a downside. Even if you happen to lock onto them, the weapon accuracy is still a bit flunky, or as the Passionos described it highly increased, and fired bullets will now be pushed towards the edge of the aiming reticle. This penalty also applies to those who even attempt to lock onto other players while using this card in particular, but it's still kind of crazy, I guess you could say. It's annoying, but you can still manage to kill others who use this card, whether it be from well-placed shots, explosives, or my personal favorite, incendiary buckshot right in the face. Probably one of the best nerfs yet. Moving on to combat cards, we have Horseman, which allows for you to deal extra damage while on horseback. Nothing too special, something probably useful for the PvE aspect. Necessity Breeds allows for you to deal more damage when you're closer to death's door, when you're almost about to die. Landon's Patience increases your damage for each shot you take while waiting in between each shot that you fire. For example, this card in my case is currently in tier 2, which makes you wait for 15 seconds between each bullet fired. Short game enables you to deal a bit more damage the closer you are to targets. However, because of this, you deal less damage should the target be far away from you. Because of update 1.06, the required distance for being close to an enemy has been reduced while damage being dealt has increased. Also, the ability is only active for at least 2 seconds. Hangman has your lasso choke the enemy, dealing a little more damage for every second that they're tied up. Because of update 1.11, it now deals a fixed amount of damage when your enemies are lassoed. Winning Streak, which is one of my personal favorites, allows for each consecutive shot that you place on your opponent to deal more damage than the previous one. The bonus damage will stop should the target of choice not be shot in the next 10 seconds. Because of update 1.06 apparently, the ability is only triggered for 2 seconds when damaging the opposition. Pretty sure the 10-second rule cancels this out, but who knows. For recovery cards, we have Comeback Stronger. This ability allows for you to regenerate health a little sooner right after you receive damage. Peak Condition, another personal favorite of mine, gives you a break when it comes to running. This means that sprinting uses less stamina than normal, and you can deal additional damage depending on what your current stamina level is at. A good card for those who like to rush into a fight, such as me. Due to update 1.06, a few changes came with it, however. Sprinting drains less stamina for all tier levels, the maximum bonus damage output has been reduced, the bonus damage now varies depending on the percentage of how much damage that you have left, and the ability is only active for around 2 seconds and when your stamina is below full. Eye for an Eye gives you an additional Deadeye for every headshot kill that you obtain. Because of update 1.06, you can now use the ability while Deadeye is activated, but the Deadeye that you've gained for each headshot has been reduced at tiers 2 and 3 to allow for better consistency among all cards, which basically means that they want to try to make it balanced and fair. Also, you'll receive Deadeye as long as the headshot actually kills someone and not give you that false hit marker, so be wary of that. The Gift of Focus lets any item or ability that restores your Deadeye to have their effects slightly improved. This is especially useful when you have to constantly use items in mid-combat scenarios. Because of update 1.11, it no longer has a penalty in regards to how much damage is being dealt while this card is equipped. Strange Medicine allows for you to gain a little health whenever you inflict damage upon someone. However, your overall health tank will generate at half the normal rate. Remember that cards like these have their advantages and disadvantages. Be careful what you use. Cold-Blooded allows for you to receive health after killing an enemy for the next 5 seconds, so use what you can. For our defense cards, we have Hunkered Down, which will let you take less damage while in cover. Because of the changes from update 1.11, your damage resistance while in cover has further increased and now applies to all types of damage received instead of just regular bullets. From my perspective, this means that you'll have to be even more accurate with your shots and how far you're throwing your explosives so that you can actually kill someone. The Fight Another Day, which is another personal favorite of mine, enables you to receive less damage from bullets while you're sprinting. For my runners out there, be sure to combine this with any card that revolves around sprinting. The Unblinking Eye allows for both your Deadeye and Eagle Eye to drain at a slower rate. For update 1.06, this card will remain active while in either mode. Take the Pain Away revolves around team members. Should you happen to revive a teammate, both of you will receive less damage for the next few seconds before deactivating. Of single purpose, works kinda similar to Fight Another Day. You will receive less bullet damage, but only if you're unarmed or have a melee weapon equipped. Try combining both of them and see where that gets you. And then we have Never Without One, our personal fan favorite. With the hat equipped, this card allows for said hat to block a headshot and fall off right afterwards. While wearing a hat, you will receive less damage, but should your hat not be on, you will receive even more damage than per usual. If you happen to die in this case while doing PvP activities, then the hat will automatically respawn with you, if I'm not mistaken that is. And this is where the fix comes in. I forgot which patch update this came with or whether it's because of a hotfix, but now when you happen to perform a headshot on someone who has this card equipped, you'll hear a small dink sound letting you know that you can actually pop their skulls one more time, this time with no bullshit. Beforehand, you couldn't hear anything when you performed a headshot on most people, which is what I assume what aggravated most of the player base. Also, and I'm pretty sure I managed to do this unknowingly a few times, but apparently you can still kill someone via headshot if your bullet is somewhere around or below the face, particularly around the eyebrow, even if they have their hats on. GTA made a video about this card in particular going over the process.
However, now Rockstar has patched it to where you're no longer able to survive a headshot over the entirety of your face. No, now you're only able to survive a headshot from above the eyebrow area. Anything between the eyebrows and below the eyebrows will be now a one-shot kill, so you don't have to worry about the Never Without One ability cards all that much.
For the 9 new cards, we're starting off with Gunslinger's Choice, which is one of the early access cards for the PlayStation folk. With this card, if you happen to be dual wielding, not only will you deal a little more damage, but your shots will be a bit more accurate than per usual. I find this one to be horrifying for 2 reasons. If you didn't happen to notice, number 1, the combat in Red Dead Online has dramatically changed to where it's much more fast-paced than usual, and 2, there are a lot of players who happen to dual wield on a daily basis. If someone happens to pair this up with accurate items such as the Mauser pistol or semi-automatic pistol and combine it with Deadeye, then you're basically screwed because every kill that they're going to be going for is going to be nothing but headshots. Mark my words, this card will definitely be even more annoying than Slippery Bastard. Then we have Sharpshooter. If you happen to have a scope equipped with your weapon, this card will allow for you to deal a bit more damage and take less damage in exchange while utilizing the scope. This also scares me a bit because of the few changes that came with the combat. To be specific, when using a scoped weapon, you now have a bit of aim assist to help with your shots. This gives me severe Watch Dogs 2 PTSD, and for anyone who happened to constantly grind a PvP in that game, you'll know exactly what I mean. Iron Lung lets your stamina regenerate faster and you take less damage depending on what your current stamina level is at. You pair this up with Peak Condition and To Fight Another Day, then you'll probably be the video game equivalent to Usain Bolt. Kick in the Butt lets you receive a small portion of Deadeye in exchange for you to take even a smidge of damage. Useful while in firefights or fistfights, I guess you could say. Live for the Fight, it's like its polar opposite. This card lets you regenerate Deadeye over time, albeit at a slow rate, unless you happen to upgrade it. Ride Like the Wind is another PS Early Access card. With this card equipped, whenever you happen to deal damage or take incoming damage, a small portion of that is given to your horse's health and stamina tanks. Unless they happen to aim for your trusty steed, then you're in the clear, that is until you die. Fool Me Once is technically the winning streak of the defense cards but plays differently. It lets you take a little less damage for each consecutive time that you get hit by bullets. The effect ends if you're not shot at within the next 10 seconds. I'm honestly trying to figure out if this card is the counter to winning streak, but I'm not too certain on it yet. Friends for Life enables for both you and your horse to take less damage overall, that is, while you're mounted only. And the last card that we have for now is Strength in Numbers, which is also the third early access card. When equipped, you take less damage for every nearby ally that's within the area, up to 3 total, particularly useful when you're doing story missions or PvP game modes that revolve around teamwork necessarily. And that's all there is to it, basically. Within the next few weeks, I should have a couple of videos that, I pulled out from Endeavor Regions that go over the roles in the game from the update and my personal advice on how to tackle them, or just something random in general. But other than that, I hope you guys actually enjoyed the video and the information. Love you all. Have a nice day. Peace.